What up?
Hi, everyone.
The Archive, number 23.
Yeah, 23 and
I need to quit saying numbers because I forget them. We got Taylor, which is T. Ronchy.
Right.
And then we got Zell, which is Zell.
Correct.
So, yeah. So, and this, you guys.
Finally.
Yeah, for sure. I know, I'm sorry I had to move shit around.
You're good.
But, so you guys do like, how would you describe your music? I mean, it's like in the hip-hop genre, but...
Hip-hop genre for sure. First starting out was definitely hip-hop influence, but now like the stuff you guys haven't heard that's unreleased is more like a alternative rock even.
Oh, hell yeah.
Guitar influence, stuff like that.
Nice.
Mm-hmm. Pretty dope.
Yeah, and so you do Astros.
Yeah, I'm half of Astros Beats, and we are a production team that cater to really any genre of music, mostly influenced by hip-hop, but like I said, the rock, guitar sample, stuff like that. We're getting into stuff like that too.
Yeah, it's tight. It sounds ridiculously good.
You like it?
Oh, yeah.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, it's like the production is phenomenal.
I appreciate that.
Yeah,
man.
that was like the first thing I noticed. And then the second thing I noticed was the tight-ass like visuals that you do for it. Like you...
on YouTube?
Well, just like even on your Facebook...
Mm-hmm.
It has like just when it does the Astros beats and it comes in with
right.
All
That was actually he goes by Easy Made. He's the other half of Astros Beats, and he I think it was a free app on his phone.
Oh, really?
And he did a majority of that on it, and then I think a couple of them he got sent off to a guy that he paid a little bit of money to, but they're pretty dope.
That just goes to show like what you can do if you try to search and you're creative, like the shit that you can do.
Oh, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. For sure.
It definitely looks like After Effects stuff because I dabble into all that that stuff, and that's what it just looked like. Advanced After Effects, which is like an Adobe, you know, the software that does all that. But yeah, I thought that was tight. So yeah, I just want to get into like the scene for you guys. You know, like what's the music scene like, and you mainly go up in Franklin or?
We do, well, we're from Dickson, and that's about 30 minutes west of Nashville. 30 to 35 minutes. And out there, really, that's like, it's real country area. It's not really, it's nothing like the city once you get into Nashville. I would say people out there don't really enjoy the kind of music we make, so it's hard to support something you don't get involved with, kind of, I guess. So when we push our music, we try to push towards Nashville and even Atlanta if we're going out there making a trip or something like that. And Franklin, we haven't really moved towards Franklin, but I feel like that'd be something more like the city than being far out in the country, people would call it.
Yeah. So did you grow up out there?
A little bit. I've been there since I was probably like 9 or 10 years old. But growing up, I grew up Kingston Springs, and that's about 20 minutes east from there. And I grew up like living in my grandmother's house with my mom and my stepdad. And one really, like, it wasn't glorified or anything like that. Like, I was sleeping on a couch and stuff.
Yeah.
When I was growing up, since I was born, till I was about 9 years old. And finally, my mom went back to school. She got comfortable enough to move us out to Dickson. And we got in a better set to build off of, I guess.
Hell yeah. And then, Zell, you're from Florida originally?
Yes. St. Petersburg.
Yeah, so what made you move out here?
Well, my aunt got custody of me when I was like 6. So she lived here in Hickman County. And then a couple years after that, my grandmother got custody of me. I've just been here ever since.
Yeah. Yeah, also been here for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much grew up out here. That's crazy. Kind of like two original, you know, Tennesseans.
Right.
We just come in and pollute it.
Right.
All of us outsiders.
Exactly.
That's cool. And so you got 3 like albums out.
Got 3 albums, well, 2 solo albums out, and those included, I think, a couple features on each.
Yeah.
And I have a a collab album, a joint album with a buddy of mine, and so I'll consider that the third one. But now I'm working on my third solo one, and that'll be called
Embers in the Dark.
Embers in the
You're
Dark.
releasing it later this month.
Later this month, hopefully. If we run into any difficulties, it'll be November, push towards November.
Yeah.
But it's all good. You know how that goes.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I know.
Some things happen. You run into some
For
stuff,
sure.
It takes
but
fucking time.
Definitely.
we're pushing towards Halloween. Really, is when we want to drop it.
And then you had was the Jerry West EP
Yes, sir.
that came out last year.
Yes.
So, but I mean, have you released anything in like 2019, like album wise, or because I saw that those because you had like what was the first one?
Post Regal was the first album. And that
Post Regal was. I
that
thought it was Cinema.
Post Regal was the first one. I think that was all. It dropped
June.
June of 2018, and then we did Cinema, and I want to say when did Cinema drop? Either towards the end of 2018 or it was the end of 2018, I believe, is when I dropped it.
Okay, and then so was Lost? Was that the
That was the joint album.
the joint one?
With me and T-Mac. And we dropped that April or May, I believe, of 2019.
Oh, so that
If
did
I'm not mistaken.
come out here.
Mhm.
Nice.
And I may have those dates wrong, but it's all
I
clear.
don't want to correct you on your own dates, but
Right, no.
I got November 2018.
Then that's what it was. That's exactly what it was.
But and then so the first one that I listened to was Codeine.
Mm-hmm.
And then so do you always do like the production within you like Astros is just
Mhm.
what you always go through?
Yeah.
All through him, for him, rather. His Jerry West album. And he had a couple singles. I don't think you've dropped the other singles I made you, but
Yeah, I've only dropped one single.
that was all a collab of me and Astros, me and Easy Made.
Yeah.
We made those beats for him too.
Hell yeah.
Everything on Post Regal, Lost, Cinema, Jerry West, and T-Mac actually dropped a new album that we did the whole album to. That's My Secret versus Hers. And we
Yeah.
got everything on that too.
That's
Beat-wise.
crazy, man.
Mhm.
Yeah, it all sounds tight. I saw one cool thing I saw that T-Mac did for the Black Rose because you were featured on one,
Right.
and I saw he was like releasing a single every Friday.
Right. It was
I
every
thought that
week.
was a cool thing.
He Easy Made set that up that way. It was I don't know exactly how we did it, but every Friday at 3:30 in the afternoon it would drop
Yeah,
until it was out, and I think that was a 6-song EP, and we also did the production for that one, and everything that all of my solo albums and any album we've done together, production wise, we've also recorded, mixed, and mastered and everything.
really.
Mm-hmm.
Hell
You
yeah,
know, so it was pretty.
that's crazy.
It's really
man.
genuine
Yeah,
sounding
it's like
too,
doing it all yourself and
Right.
everything. It feels good though, like when you
It
get it
does.
done. Yeah,
for sure. It
that's
does.
how we did our EP, and it's definitely a grind, but. And you learn like along the process, so, like you're always learning new things.
For
and
sure.
You're like a song's finished, and you're like, "Shit, I could have done this." You
Right.
know?
Mhm.
And
I agree with
then
you.
the probably my favorite one that you guys had together was The Same Way.
Oh yeah, that was Zell and T-Mac did that one
Oh,
the same way.
I thought you were in it.
Mm-mm.
No?
Mm-mm. We
Dang.
did the Astros did the beat on that one though.
Yeah. Oh, maybe that's what I saw.
Mm-hmm.
But then I did see that you guys used the CS Productions.
Right, that's Kanan McWilliams. He's a local from Dickson, and he's done visuals for Big Murph. I want to say he's done some collabs with Upchurch the Redneck, if I'm not mistaken. And he's really cold with it, with what
Yeah.
he does visual wise.
Yeah, it looks tight. So how did you get in contact with?
I actually I worked with his sister in Dickson, and when she found out I did music, she kind of like linked us in. She was like, "Hey," she was like, "My brother's out here. He wants to talk to you." I was like, "Okay." And this was back in like 2015,
Yeah.
2016, and so like in the middle of a shift, I just go out there and I like outside of the building and talk to him, and he's like, "Hey man, you're really cool. I want to work with you." And at the time, I don't even think he was doing videography. I think he was just recording people.
Oh,
And
really?
he had like a little MacBook Air or something like that. He had like GarageBand on there, and he was getting like a couple buddies over there recording on a little setup. And I went over there and did 2 or 3 songs with him. And I take it back because he actually did. He pulled out his camera, like as the whole thing was going on. But he was starting to get into it, and we all just caught a vibe in there, having a good time, and he was recording what we were doing, and he really took it seriously and like got cold with it. So
yeah, that's crazy, man. It's so true. Of like, it's not what you know, it's who you know.
Exactly.
Like everything that's the cool shit that's happened for us has just always been somebody hooking us up or introducing us to somebody. And
right.
I was just thinking about that yesterday, just like working with his sister, and then you get linked up with this dude that you can work with and
lean on him if I need something like right then and there. I don't have to jump out of my way and go to a different state or meet him anywhere to like do that because he's literally right there where we live. So hey man, I got this cool song and I got a great idea for it. Call him up and he's normally there for it.
Hell yeah, that's cool, man. So on the new album, how is it? Like, have you changed a lot? Like, is this the new album that you're about to do, like the rock?
It is, and it's like it's hard to explain because, like you said, as you go with recording yourself and engineering and all this stuff. When I first started, I said I was heavily hip hop influenced, and that was because I was really addicted to making trap beats and melodic trap beats and stuff like that, and I felt myself going for more of that vibe. And then I look back to when I was younger, and as I'm growing in the studio, knowing how to use my voice and knowing how to do all this stuff. Excuse me. When I was growing up, I listened to a lot of Linkin Park, Limp Bizkit, and that was like Limp Bizkit was like the real first touch of like rap, but like a mixture of rock and stuff. 3 Days Grace, all these people, and I loved it. And I just remember my dad playing it for me, like riding with him, and that's what I loved when I really first started like hearing music and understanding what it was. So taking the hip hop influence and the rock influence from that kind of stuff, mixing it together, and it's really like it's guitar and it's the rock that you guys would love, and that mixed with some trap drums with some hard hitting like 808s and stuff like that.
I'm pumped as shit to hear it.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
like
dude.
in comparison to what's out as far as the production value.
Right.
Then I just want to take a step back to something you said before we get too far along again. Like you said, taking something serious. Like that's something that I noticed. Like, because I came down here for vacation to see these guys last year, and then I decided to come down here. And that's one thing I noticed is that like, you can jam or you like play some music with people, and you can see that it ain't doing nothing. But when you're in a like room with people that are really trying to take it serious, that's something that's just like there's magic in there. That's what it's about there. And you can feel it and you know it, and it's just like that's something that I'll never forget when they were working on their EP and I came down. It was just like the whole essence of like the feeling in the room, just like it was like, all right, let's get to work, and then boom. It's just like there's this mask on everything, and you're like, "Oh, this is what it's all about."
It's definitely a vibe, and it frustrates me sometimes because people don't really understand the time and the effort and like the feeling behind music. And if you go to show somebody like, "Hey, man, what do you think of this?" and you don't get the reaction out of them, I don't always look for like instant gratification or anything like that. But when I don't see the enjoyment on their face, I'm like, man, I kind of like get down on myself, and that's something I got to work past. But man, people, like he was saying, people don't understand it when you're in the room and like that vibe.
Yeah.
It's just crazy. It gives me chills almost every time.
Yeah, it's
crazy.
It's definitely like a grind, and just when people care about a project, it just makes it something really special. And that, I feel like that's just how music is like you want other people to feel that expression that you're getting in that room at that moment. And
exactly.
I think the hard thing is they're not sitting with it for, a year or, a couple months, like working on it while you are. So that's why you're like, every intricacy. And so like when you show somebody and they're like, cool, you're just like, man, like,
like, fuck you.
Exactly.
You're missing it.
You just want people you want your music to hit somebody like some music's hit you.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. That's what it's about. So what about you, man? What made you really want to start, like, what got you really heavy into music, and what made you want to start doing it? Like, where,
I was going to college at the time, and I've known him all my life since I was like in elementary school. So, at like in like 7th grade, I think I went to another school, and I went to a different high school and all that. We never really hung out, linked back up, and I was going to college at the time, and I had just gone through a breakup, and so I started. One of my buddies hit me up and was like, "Come to the house, bro, and chill with us." So I did, and he was there, and I had heard like through social media that they like I knew that he was making music and that stuff. So we linked back up. We just clicked, and told me to come to the studio one time, and at that time, like I said, I was going through a breakup, so like the soft stuff really touched me.
Mm-hmm.
So I was thinking maybe I could make some soft stuff, you know.
Yeah, pour your heart out a little bit.
Yeah, try it out.
Like you were saying with the vibe stuff, he was in there, and I could tell like I don't know exactly what project we were working on at the time, but it was probably even before Post Regal had dropped. It was probably when I was working on stuff like that, and he was in there, and I saw it like on his face, like he was just kind of like zoned out.
Yeah,
and like you said, the vibe stuff,
Mm-hmm.
he really felt it, and that meant a lot to me. And I kind of pitched to him like, hey man, if you want to like get something off your chest or whatever, music's like the way to do it.
yeah.
If you ever want to just go in there and just even yell or something,
Yeah.
scream, whatever. And he's found a love for it, and he's come a long way, definitely, in the 2 or 3 years that he's been
definitely
doing it. For
yeah,
sure.
my first song I did, I kind of poured everything out, you know, about my parents, breakup, all that. It was trash, but I'm getting better. I'm getting better.
It's all a learning experience.
Yeah, for sure. Trial and error.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the biggest thing. And like I feel like that's the cool thing about, you know, continuing to do music is it's just always going to get better. You know, because there's so much to learn. So like you just keep going, and then you're like, oh, I can do this. This makes more sense. This cadence works here, you know, like and all that.
For sure.
So you got new shit coming out?
I do. Not really. I have a couple singles right now, but I'm working on a project with him right now.
We're gonna try to do like a joint album.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like I said, we don't know what we're gonna call it yet, but it may turn out to be an album, whichever one. But maybe towards the end of this year, or the beginning of next year,
Yeah.
we'll have that out. Our first
Fucking
project
pumped
together.
for it.
Yeah, man, that sounds pretty cool. I think
Yeah.
for sure.
So like, what's your influence on, like, since you've been getting into music, like, I'm sure you listen to it differently now, too, and everything.
Yeah, for sure. Are you asking like who influences me?
Yeah, just like anything.
I listen to a lot of like Lil Baby, Gunna, that type of stuff. So I guess really I learned a lot from him too.
Mm-hmm.
So he's always showing me new things and what I can do with my voice. So that's what I'm trying to do right now is find my voice.
Mm-hmm.
So just because, like I said, I've only done that one album and a couple singles.
Yeah.
So finding your voice is really hard too. Like you said, like people don't understand the hard work and everything.
Yeah, the
that's
hours
put
that you
into
gotta
it.
put in. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes you go for
years.
Yeah.
It takes to
sometimes you sit there in the studio for 6 hours and you leave with nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing done at all.
Dude, I know that feeling so hard. You're working on something, and for some reason in the moment you think it's good, and then you come back the next day, and you're like, this sucks.
That's not what I wanted it to be. That kind of thing, yeah.
That's exactly what I was about to say. I'll do something. Like I just did something the other day. I showed him, and he said, "Well, you know, you can maybe do this on it, or maybe do this." And it's like, "Oh yeah, that's a better idea." But at the time, I thought, "Oh yeah, this is hard."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But there's always something better that you can do, you know.
Oh yeah, dude. I know for me for a solid little while, there's probably like a 6-month period when I started like recording myself, where everything I send over to Trey, he'd be like, you know, 2-page long list of shit that you can fix and not one good job. And it's just like, that's all I wanted is a good job.
I'm sure I said it in a nice way though.
Not for a long time.
He was just
but no,
overly
it's good.
sensitive.
It is good.
Yeah.
You need that though. You
It's
need
just
to kind
constructive.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
Oh yeah,
really.
for sure. I
For
said
sure.
something when I was talking about with Cody from The Human Condition. It's like when somebody tells you constructive criticism, they're telling you, hey, I believe you can do better. And like the nicest way possible is like, I believe you have more in you, you know, to do something better. And so it's just like a way to grow. And then, yeah, learning from somebody. Like I've learned so much from Chris, you know, since I've been here. And that's just the best way to learn, like having somebody be able to, you know, kind of show you the ropes. It's a lot easier than Googling it.
For sure. And once you get to a certain point, you'll start to catch yourself doing something, maybe not wrong, but you'll catch yourself like, hey, I can do that better.
Yeah.
Let me do it again. Or let's retake the whole freaking track.
Yeah,
trash it, and let's record the vocals all over again. That kind of thing. And I'm trying to get him to that point because, like he said, like especially people who aren't into music, they don't hear what we can hear.
Right.
That kind of thing. And, yeah, man, all it takes is going in there, experiencing it, and then be like, okay, now I know what I can do. Now I know what I should do. So,
yeah. So what got you into like making beats and doing all that?
Man, I was in like 7th or 8th grade, and I had a buddy. He brought this like for some reason we were just in middle school and we were talking about like, man, what are we gonna do when we're older, like out of high school, that kind of thing. And we're talking about like, let's go to medical school, let's do all this and that, and what should we do to be successful? And then as we're talking about this, we're listening to music in the background, and we noticed like every time we hung out, he had like this little speaker, and like we just plug in the aux and just go through a playlist and just listen, and then we just chill, talk, play Xbox, whatever. And we realized like music was a huge part of our lives, and we didn't even like, we took it for granted really. And he's like, why don't we make some music, man? And there was a few, this is when, obviously before that, but this is when YouTube really started like clicking, and people would just go on there, play guitar and sing, and they'd blow up overnight. So we were like in hopes of like, maybe if we practice at it, post a video, and it'll go viral. We'll wake up with like millions of fans.
Yeah.
And obviously that's not the case, and it's way harder, and that's like once in a lifetime thing, whatever. But Drake was really big then. He's huge now. But he kind of did that like singing, rapping stuff.
Yeah.
And so we'd listen to songs by him. We'd play through his whole album. And anytime he was singing, my buddy would sing. And anytime he rapped, I would rap. And then I would go home and just like practice his cadence, how we did things. And once I figured out like I could do that, I was like, okay, there's more to it than that, which is the beat.
Yeah.
And it's music. And I started watching interviews on YouTube of these artists, and they're talking about their production team and all these things. I'm like, man, people really do that? Like, because people really don't understand that people sit down and make beats, instrumentals, and stuff like that. Just because it's not live instrumentation, they don't get it. And so I did some research. I found Fruity Loops, FL Studio, and I downloaded a demo version on, it was my mom's laptop at the time, and she was just like, I just asked her, I was like, hey, can I use this? She was like, yeah, I don't really care. And I was like, okay. So I went upstairs, I downloaded it, and I took it over to my buddy's house. I was like, hey man, look at this, whatever. And I started just messing around, and it was trash. Anything I was putting down like on the laptop, it was just garbage. So I started looking up more tutorials on like, hey, like what does this mean? What's the BPM? Like I don't even know any of this.
Right.
So, and this is when I was like 12, 13, 14 years old. And I'm getting frustrated with it. Then I catch myself later on, like freshman year, sophomore year, I'm staying up in my room until like 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning on school nights, like just staring at it, clicking to try to figure it out. And then towards my senior year of high school, I finally, like it all clicked, and I was like, okay, I can really like, it sounds good. If I make a beat, it sounds good.
Right.
And then just from there, man, and I really like, I love it. Off,
yeah.
It's a passion. I love it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool. Man, I remember downloading Fruity Loops when I was a kid. I don't know why, because like I always played metal, you know. But I remember like, but I always, you know, like I've always loved every genre. But I remember like all I could really do was it would give you the loop, you know, and you can loop it. That's all I ever figured out. And like putting in the MIDI for the kick, and then the snare, and then like the hi-hats. And so it would just be like, I would just make dance beats.
Right.
And then just loop it. Just be like, all right.
It'd be like a club thing. You'd be like, all right, sounds pretty cool.
Yeah, like,
yeah,
you know?
Right. I did that for a little bit too. My mom, she loves EDM. She's always loved it. And so me growing up, like when I told you the Linkin Park and all that stuff, that came from my stepdad. He would always listen to that, Cypress Hill even. Mm-hmm. And my mom was always on like the Swedish House Mafia, stuff like that. Yeah.
I'm a big techno fan myself. That's what started it all for me. That's why I like FL Studio and then like Ableton. I jumped on those because I wanted to make like hardstyle techno.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's just like that's what taught me DAWs though.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so like I can, if you mess with one, you can kind of like
Right. It all feeds into the other.
So yeah, man.
I agree completely.
Yeah, and I saw that you like release beats, on YouTube and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool.
Me and
put some free beats out there for people to
right.
use.
And those aren't like people get the wrong idea about those. Those aren't like just throwaways that we hated or whatever. Like anytime we sit down and make a beat, there's passion behind it.
Yeah.
Period. And you gotta, in order to grow and people to hear you, you gotta put something out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just to say you produce this, and that on certain albums, like I said, people really don't pay attention to that kind of thing. So when people go on YouTube and type beats, here recently, actually, like the past 2 or 3 years, that really popped off. People go on YouTube and type in like Lil Baby, like he was talking about Lil Baby type beats, and they'll pop up like hundreds of them. So you put beats on there that people like, and it caters to what people are looking up. People really start following you, and not even if they're not buying your stuff, they'll go and listen and like where you're dropping stuff like that.
I've seen
yeah,
people,
for sure.
Because I've looked up a ton of beats myself, and then you'll just like look down in the comments and just see like the entire rap people wrote to your beat. And that's really pretty sick.
You got to hit read more, and it's just like a full thing. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's cool. And like you said, even if people aren't, buying stuff, like you're in their head, and like they know your brand, a little bit, and that's worth something. I feel like that's worth a lot nowadays. It's just because it's kind of like long term, it's not getting a million streams in one night. It's like this guy downloaded this beat, and maybe 3 years later, he comes back because he's like, hey, I know, right. Like I can afford to buy a beat now. Let me hit these guys up and and see if they'll make a beat for me.
For sure.
And
there's actually a couple producers that I've followed for a long time. JTK Productions. I was listening to him for about a year and a half, just looking up type beats and seeing what other people are bringing to the table and how I can get better. How are people putting their hi-hats? How are people
right.
If I can hear an 808 through my cell phone, it's mixed perfect. And like sometimes on my beats you can't do that. So like I just try to listen to other people's stuff. And JTK actually produced a song that blew up almost overnight. And I feel like the guy that his name's Polo G, and I think he just downloaded the beat. And I may be wrong, but he just downloaded the beat off YouTube. It was a free beat, and then you hear his tag at the beginning and like throughout the middle of the song.
Yeah.
And now he's producing like 2 or 3 albums for like 2 of the biggest artists out right now. So it's all like in high hopes, but it happens.
And you gotta give to be able to.
Exactly.
Yeah, for sure.
Exactly.
Do you feel like you're pursuing like beats more than music, or like would you rather be a producer, or
it's kind of like a toss up for me, really.
Whatever works, like 'cause you love both, kind of thing.
Kind of. I feel like whatever works, whatever comes first, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
If people love the beats and they're like, man, we need you, and I make millions of dollars off of beats, then I can turn around and invest in myself and start singing, start rapping, whatever. But I love it, man. If I was sitting right there making a beat, I probably wouldn't say a word for a couple hours.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even look around. I get lost. It's like I'm in a different world.
For sure.
It's like therapy almost.
Yeah, it's a cool thing about music. You just zone out.
Mm-hmm.
Just take a break. You get to take a break from everything.
Exactly.
It's always so wild, like how fast time passes, like.
For sure.
When you're at work, it's terrible. But then you come home and you spend 8 hours and
it's like
you're like, shit, I haven't ate or anything.
But you don't care.
Yeah.
And that's when you know you're passionate about something for sure. And it's like work. Like you said, work, man, you're at work. But when I'm at work, just like you guys, like you think about it all day. Music.
Trying to figure out.
That's something I respect about you guys is that I see you're both out working real jobs because you know that you gotta have a way to fund yourself if you're gonna do it. You've it would, of course, it'd be great to get to a point where you can just do music solely, but until you can get to that point, you've got to be able to, take care of yourself and then, pay your fucking bills.
Exactly. And we were talking to this guy last week. His name is Mike T. He's from Toronto. He's an A&R, and he was giving us kind of like a insight on the business. And I'm just like telling him, man, like, what do we need to do to get out of this like stress of going to work every day and then coming home and sometimes not even having the energy to sit down and do what we love to do.
Right.
And he kind of said, man, he was like, that's it. Like, that is the passion. That's the grind. You wake up every day and you work just to be able to come home and make this stuff.
Yeah.
And it really like hit hard. And he's like, y'all need to give up. Y'all need to go down on yourselves. Like,
yeah. Well, and that's what like separates people from just doing this like as an idea, and then the people who keep going and make it is because it is hard to work and then come home and force yourself to, you know, even though you love it, like it's still hard to,
you
know, because you're tired and you're like, I just want to fucking take a nap or
curl up, go to sleep, something, man.
Like I haven't played video games in 2 weeks,
right?
You know,
for
like,
sure.
I just want to have a day.
That's how it is.
That's just like, that's what I try to keep in my mind with like, you know, I have to keep pushing because that's what's you're going to pass up the people. Like the more you keep pushing, the more people you're passing up. So like right now we're in a crowd of, you know, millions of people trying to do music. You just keep pushing, then it becomes 900,000, you know, and like eventually you're in that top 1% if you just keep going. And I used to be, you know, very like, I want to be successful when I'm 20, you know, 21.
Exactly.
You know, but now it's just like, I just want to do what I love, you know, and I know something will come from it kind of thing. It's like, no matter what path, like you figure out something because it's just, you kept going rather than quitting and giving up.
Right.
You know, and that's like the big thing.
People lose sight and they're quick to lose sight. And like,
it's easy, man.
For sure. And if you sit back and like look at what you're doing, like you're doing what you love at the end of the day. When I'm sitting there, even just making a beat at the house, it's like, this is what I love to do. And I'm grateful that I'm able to sit here and do it. You know what I mean? But you always got to push for more too.
Yeah.
You can't be.
Because if you stay stagnant, you're never gonna.
Exactly. For sure.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just like when you're like, oh, I got to pay these bills. And it's easy to let the problems of the world cloud, you know, why you're doing this and stuff. So yeah, I get it.
I'm glad you said that too, about like letting problems of the outside stuff and reality and let it cloud you, and anxiety comes into play, depression, stuff like that. And like on this new album, I touched base on a lot of that stuff, just coming from me, like waking up sometimes and being literally sad for no reason all day, just because it's like we were just talking about going to work and stuff. It's like, I'm not doing what I love all day, every day. But you just got to push through it, and you got to take the time and do what you love to do, and good will come from it.
Yeah,
definitely.
It's awesome.
It's also hard, like we were talking about earlier, when you do invest all this time and then nobody cares, you know?
Yeah.
Like, that's the other thing that you just keep pushing, because that's, you know, that'll demotivate a lot of people. But if you keep going, like I said, you keep climbing.
You're going to find some people that do.
Yeah.
And then you got those, you know, so like, if you like something I wanted to say that I saw from like both of your Facebook is that you're like mad sharing each other's shit. So it's like, you know, when I checked out his Facebook, he like everything you put out, you know, it's all shared. It's all like, and it's just like, at the very least, if you got these few people that, you know, it's just like you get those first few fans that really care, even if they're, you know, close knit, you know, they were there through the whole process of it. They mean a whole ton, and then you're going to get a couple here and there and a couple here and there. And then it's just like, it snowballs as it goes, you know?
Exactly. And me and Easy Made, like whenever we produce something, he'll normally share it, and then he'll post it as like, hey, look at these guys, we helped with the production, they killed it, kind of thing. And then I'll share it on Facebook, and it doesn't have to be in our inner circle. It's just whoever comes in and does their thing in there. And we recorded a guy's name's Tube. We recorded him the other night. Pulled up, it was an older beat, but he literally he loved it, and he went in there, vibed, and did his thing on it. I think he's about to do an album with us, because he feels it every time he's in there, just because of the vibe. But we're pushing to share him too, and he's probably gonna do the same for us. Oh yeah, just get our names out there, kind of thing.
It's interesting to me, like when we talk cross genres, you know, like we come from the metal and rock world and everything, but it's crazy how just musicians all kind of have the same struggles, you know, like just being a musician, no matter what genre, it's always kind of the same. It's the same story.
Exactly.
And that's cool. But I'm sure there is differences.
For sure.
That's what I want to find. You know, so like I guess what's trying to think of like what it'd be, but like when you're doing stuff on your own and then collaborating and everything, we had another kind of rap group on here. They're just always talking about, you know, if I'm going up, you're going up kind of thing. You know, as you guys kind of hold the same.
We were actually just talking about that. I think we were, I went to Atlanta a while ago, and it was probably 2016. And there's a guy that's pretty well known from our town, and we got presented with the opportunity to go to Atlanta with him and try to shoot for the best and let's see what happens kind of thing. And the whole time we were down there, he always said, like, just stay down and like be here for me, and just like I'm here for you guys. And like when it all happens, like the blow up or whatever, you guys all are like come with me pretty much. Everyone that's here right now is gonna come pretty much. And it's just like it's all love, it's all family, and it stands whether like I would say even if you part ways and for something or other, it's all life and it's all love. So whoever was down and whoever showed support, it's like
yeah, that's awesome, man. I dig that. So what about like shows? You guys do shows or
not just yet? We're really in the process of us like finding our voices and finding who we are as artists and stuff like that. It's like we're trying to find how to market correctly and promote our sound and stuff like that, and artist development and all that kind of stuff. And I feel like when the time's right, we'll do shows, but we haven't been presented with that opportunity yet.
So what's the what's your ideas for marketing and stuff now and all that?
We're really doing like he said on Facebook, that kind of thing, like social media marketing, like that's huge now, obviously, like Twitter, Facebook, stuff like that. He had some cards made, Easy made, had some Astros Beats cards made, and we're really taking it like old school. People used to stand on the corner and like hand out CDs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
We're really like pushing for like going downtown Nashville and like, hey, here's my card. All you gotta do is type in what's on here and you'll see everything we're about, kind of thing. And we're not professionals at it, obviously.
Yeah.
There's like a way to go about it, but like that also comes with money too.
Yeah.
So
well, that's part of the grind too of learning how to do it. Like
exactly.
I've made tons of marketing mistakes for the band, and you just learn from it. And you're like, not gonna do that next time.
Exactly, for sure.
So
and yeah, I forgot what I was gonna say, honestly. But it's all good.
But yeah, that's cool. Man, I just had something to
I don't know what happened.
Yeah.
I literally was gonna say something, it just slipped. It's all good.
But so do you guys mainly do you put your stuff on SoundCloud? Is that kind of like your what's the platform that you like to distribute mainly on? And
we used to do TuneCore, and that distributed to
everything.
Everything. And someone was, I think Easy Made was telling us that's probably not the best way to go. Just for like royalty purposes, I think they take a bigger percentage. And so at the end of the day, it's really just like, it's being put out there, which is great. That's awesome.
Yeah.
But like, if it's being played somewhere that you're not up to date with, like, you may not be seeing your money from it. And so we just recently switched over to DistroKid, and that's pretty cool. He threw a song on there. And back when I first started, my very first song I put out on SoundCloud was in 2015. And that was after I graduated high school. Like, mostly being because I knew when I was in high school, like, I knew what I wanted to do, but I felt like if I did it in high school, I'd get so much hate for it, I wouldn't want to do it anymore. So I was like, okay, I'm going to play it safe. I'm going to be under the radar. And then when I got out of high school, I found this guy through a friend. And how long have y'all lived here in Tennessee?
3 years.
3 years. Well, I knew a guy, his name was Nick Riley, and he was he recorded like metal and rock and stuff like that, but he started branching off into rap, and one of my buddies heard of him from like it was like an open mic night or something like that. So I went over there and recorded my first song, and that was before, yeah, right. They're buzzing around me. And that was before I really knew anything about anything. Like, I didn't think Apple and Spotify was that big of a deal.
Right.
And so I recorded the song. I went home. He was like, hey, it's done. And I was like, send it over to me. And I listened to it like 100 times.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, cool.
It's like, I'm going to change the world.
Right. I was like, I'm going to throw it on SoundCloud. And actually, man, like, for some reason, it did more than I thought it was going to do. I think it got like, I told everyone on Twitter, I was like, hey, I'm dropping my first song. And everyone was like, you're crazy. Like, everyone thought I was kidding around because I'm like a goofy guy, and everyone was like, please do it, drop it, I gotta hear this, like, kind of thing. And I dropped it and everyone loved it. It's just because it was good. It was a good song. And literally in the first like hour it got like 1,200 plays on SoundCloud.
God damn.
And now it's sitting at like 8,000, I think. And then I was like, cool, I'm gonna do it again. So like a few months later, I think that I recorded that in like August or September, and I think I dropped my second one in like November. And it did like the same thing almost. Like in the first 2 hours, it was like 1,200 plays. And I was like, oh shit. So I thought that was a big deal. And I think I just died down after that. People really stopped showing interest for whatever reason. And I don't know. I just started really building on myself from there.
Yeah.
Branching out different genres and listening to other people and stuff like that. Just trying to focus on what I wanted to sound like, really.
Yeah.
For sure.
So what's your guys' like writing process like? Like how do you start? You know, like when you have an idea for a song, you think of like lyrical content first, like this is what I want it to sound like, or
sometimes I'll get like an idea sometimes, and a majority of the time it's when I'm just sitting there like making beats.
Mm-hmm.
And normally when I make beats, I'll make the full beat, I'll save it, label it a certain thing, and then I'll keep it like in our archive of just beats. And we have just like beats on beats. We have like
archive. Oh, you said it.
we have like a probably like 1,000 beats, maybe more than that.
God damn.
And just sitting on the computer.
Yeah.
Just waiting for us to do something with. And if I really love the sound of one I made, I'll save it and I'll put my name on it. And then I'll just be like, okay. And I'll keep doing my thing. And my writing process, I'll literally, a majority of the songs that I do, I play the beat. I'm like, okay, record it. And I go in there and I literally just, it's like a vibe.
Yeah.
The first words I think of, I just say it. And I'm like, and I'll start mumbling and like kind of get the melody. And I'll be like, okay, do it again. And I'll just keep doing it until I get the words right. That kind of thing. I hardly ever like write or either on my phone. It's just like a feeling, I guess.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
About you, Zell?
For me, like you said, kind of like feeling the beat, you know, listening to it a couple times. Like I said, I'm learning, so for me it's a little harder because I gotta feel the beat, and then I have to listen to the beat multiple times just to get like my words right, to make sure they're on beat and all that, you know. So it takes me a couple days to feel. Well, I feel the beat right away, but it takes me a couple of days
to get
the words right, you know.
You gotta get out what you want to say.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I gotta make sure it's perfect too. Like what I want to say is what I want to say. Yeah.
That's shit that I wish that I could. We're so bad at like like fitting words into, like here's the 16th notes, and then you're gonna do these 8th notes here,
right?
And like just fitting words. That's
especially if you wanted to, if you want to hit like a little, you have the flow in your head, the cadence of whatever you're gonna say. It's like, okay, this is how I want to say it, and this is how many syllables it's gonna be. What fucking words am I going to put in that? Yeah. And it's hard. It does get stumping sometimes. You just sit there and you're like, man.
Yeah. But so I totally get like listening to it over and over, and it's like you feel the music, but then you're like, what am I going to do? You got to get something down. Then you got to figure out, okay, here's what I want to do. What lyrics fit in here that I'm trying to tell? And like that's the stuff that, that's hard.
It is hard. And people, like I said before, when we first started talking, it's like, people don't understand like the time and like the thought, because you can be talking about this in the hook at the beginning, and then it gets to the last verse, you're talking about something completely different. It has to tie in somehow.
You're telling a story in some sort of way.
Exactly.
It's gotta progress throughout the song.
I think that's why musicians respect each other. It's because you're like, I know you've spent so long developing this craft, and for the most part, some people are assholes, but
right, exactly. Some people,
fuck you and your music.
Yeah.
It aggravates me sometimes, like when people do just kind of, you see the people that are going up and like making these moves that like you're not even close to yet, and then you're like, you look back at their like track record, and it's like they have like 2 songs out,
Yeah.
or they don't have anything, and it's like, how do people like this, or how have they heard it when we've been working for years and years and years? It's crazy. It aggravates me sometimes, but then you sit back, you're like, they're gonna be done after a year or so. So
yeah, that or like, you know, they're just like the 1 in a million that get that, you know, like it's so.
Yep, and it runs them dry because they didn't put, you know, like something that like I like to compare to. It's like, or like Billie Eilish, you know, for example, she's fucking huge. She blew up. I love her music, but it's just like, you know, she didn't build up to that. Like it was something, you know, she fucked around with her brother in her room and made these songs, and then like they blew the fuck up. She blew the fuck up. She's 17. You know, she doesn't
even know real life
like,
yet.
She's ran through, you know, she's been milked for all she's fucking worth. Like at the VMAs, she looked like shit. And it's just like,
it's probably just her look. Yeah, asshole.
Well, no, but here's the deal.
And then people start going
Justin Bieber. Look at Justin Bieber, the wonderful guy right there, right behind the camera. You guys can't see him, but he's there.
He did his thing when he was younger, and now he's married, and he's trying. I feel like he's trying to enjoy life, you know.
Yeah,
like almost really settling down.
Yeah,
really.
Yeah,
I'm sure eventually he'll put out some stuff, but he hasn't put out anything in a while.
It's like been a minute. I think.
Didn't he just do his?
Well, yeah, he does like some
Ed Sheeran.
Yeah,
he did a song with Ed Sheeran.
Yeah,
he does
but
some
just
features.
like we want a
yeah,
real
features. He's doing, yeah. He hasn't done an album
right
in a while.
Since
was Believe or yeah?
Was it the Believe tour? He did a tour.
Believe was 2012 because that was my senior year, and I loved that shit.
Okay, it was definitely. I think it was Promise. I think you went on the Promise tour. It was like a Purple
that's
Heart.
right. Yeah,
and I think because our buddy loves him.
Yeah,
like looks up to him, like to the max. And I think he told me a few years ago, he was like, man, he's still on tour. Like I think a 2-year like worldwide tour.
Yeah, man,
which is nuts.
Yeah,
that's fucking crazy to even
like
think about.
Metallica type shit.
Literally,
Metallica did that.
And then he's chilling now.
But just a kid, but
he gets a lot of hate.
He does. It sucks.
Like, can you blame him? You know. And if we look at long term shit, it's like look at Michael Jackson. Look, that same shit happened to him a long time ago, and that's just that's the industry fucking taking hold of people. But that's something that, you know, being an independent artist now is really like you can.
We got the power.
You can take yourself really far. You know.
That's what we were talking about on the way here. Actually, is like all these people are blowing up when they're younger, but like for us, we feel like it's the universe putting us through the stuff already. So whenever we do, like we've already.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Because if you go through like these hard ass times and you can't make it through that, what makes you think you can stand on stage for literally 2 years straight and cater to what people want to hear and stuff like that? So.
Well, and I always believed that, you know, it's like
Believe.
Yeah,
believer.
Fuck. I forgot what I was saying. So Justin Bieber is a day older than me. His birthday's on March 1st, and mine's the 2nd.
Really?
1994.
Mine's March 15th.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, man.
March babies.
Are you Pisces or?
Yeah.
Pisces, man. Yeah.
Yeah. Damn, I don't remember what the fuck I was saying, Cody.
Got JB on the mind.
What were we talking about?
Something about.
Oh, we were talking about.
Oh yeah. So like, it's like if you win the lottery and you win all this money, and those people usually go bankrupt because they didn't build up to having that money. So I think of the same as like playing shows. You know, like if we had to go play a show in front of 50,000 people, it would be god awful. You know, like if we just blew up and they're like, hey, you got this show,
right? You
know, but like if you build up, it's like here's in front of 5 people, 20 people, 50 people, 100 people, 500 people. You know, like you're used to it as you're building up. You know, and you're learning. Mm-hmm. My mom's always like, "You're gonna be an overnight success." I'm like, "No, Mom.
I hope not."
Yeah, fuck that.
There's this rapper. He's new to this scene. His name's Lil Tecca, and he's like 18, 19 years old, and he just literally he wasn't even like really rapping for a long time. I think it was like a few months, and these producers heard about him and they were like, man, let's get him in here or whatever. So we went in there and he was like, they're just playing through beats and he was like, man, I really like this beat. And it literally went crazy, like on Twitter.
Yeah.
And they had him, y'all probably seen like, I don't know how to explain it. It's on YouTube and it's like this certain channel, but it's kind of like an open mic thing and just a camera on them and they come out. It's just a microphone in the middle of a room and they'll sing their song.
Is it like Tiny Desk or something along?
Something like that. I think it's like, I'll think of it later. But he went out there to do that and he looked like he hated life. He had no idea, like all these cameras on him, and he was literally like a shy kid. I was like, damn,
ready
bro.
for that shit.
Like he had no idea. But he's all good at, like, on social media, it's like behind the phone and it's a certain way, and then you get in public and it's like, damn.
Oh, yeah.
People freak out.
Yeah, it's so different.
Mm-hmm.
Not that I know. Never had people, you know, like wanting cameras in my face.
Exactly.
I just do it myself.
You look in the mirror, you're like,
yeah,
that's your camera.
You the man.
You the man. For sure.
Oh,
yeah. Man, I'm sorry. Dropping the ball. That fly. No,
that fly was crazy. Made me lose my fucking thoughts.
But, so you go from, like, if you did, I guess, like, what are the end goals for you guys? Like, what?
I've had this, like, one end goal for me for, like, years, ever since, like, middle school when we first started talking about it. I want to be able to sit in a huge house and wake up every day and literally do what I love to do.
Yeah.
Just not because, like, oh, look what I got this big house. Right. I literally don't want it to be near anybody. I want to, like, a house on a hill.
Yeah.
Away from everyone. And, like, that's mine. Yeah. Wake up. Huh?
Is it haunted?
Haunted? It is haunted, man.
The sick ass beats.
Yeah, right. The evil beats. Just wake up and do what I love, man. And be able to support me and my family and their dreams. And, like, when I have kids, I want to be able to. It doesn't have to be music. If they come up and they're like, my son's like, hey, I love soccer. I'll get you the best of the best, and I'll make sure you're good.
Yeah.
Make sure you're happy doing it.
And go for it. It's a cool thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you want people to pursue their passions.
Make sure they got your support too.
Yeah.
Exactly.
What about you?
For me, I feel like it's for him too. Like, we kind of have the same idea, but for me, it's like I just want to be able to give, like, not really give like everything that I have, you know, but I want to be able to, like, give to charity. You know, I seen Jaden Smith. He did he put, like, a water unit or something out there in Africa, and, like, just things like that, like little things like that people don't understand, that like even famous people now, rich people now, they don't understand that other people are struggling.
Right.
So I just want to be able to.
Homeless people, that's a big thing.
Yeah.
Make sure everyone's happy, that kind of thing. Even if you can just help them for a few days or weeks or whatever, as long as people are happy, man.
That's humbling.
Maybe not even.
It's gonna take you forward.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe not even with, like, money or anything like that. Just, like, touching people's hearts.
Yeah.
Being there for them.
Yeah.
Maybe giving them wise words. You know.
Through music too, like it's, you know, that's how you speak to people.
Mm-hmm.
It's how you were spoken to. You know, it's like when you hear a good song and you're like, "Fuck, someone understands." You know.
Yeah,
exactly.
It's like that does more, and that's why people go crazy for musicians.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's why, like, you meet this person. I mean, you sort of romanticize them in your head. You know, but it's just like, you know, when you hear that track, especially from someone like, you know, they put, like, you can tell, especially when you're like, you know, we've got the ear now as musicians, like, we can tell in a song, you know, if it's just some, like, industry grade shit, or if someone made something that's real, and when you hear that, you're just like, oh, you know.
Exactly.
And that's all you want to do for, you know, you want to hit someone else like that. That's what it's about.
Yeah, I really believe in, like, this day and age, people can succeed in something that they love just with technology. I know it's, like, hard because there's so much noise out there, you know, in whatever creative passion you're pursuing. But I think if you just, like, keep going and put the grind in, like, just the tools that we have to learn, like being able to create beats, you know, like 30 years ago, you wouldn't have been able to get your mom's laptop and figure out that that's what you loved.
And, it would have been a completely different ball game.
Yeah.
For sure.
Nowadays, like, you can just start You know,
you can do shit on your phone.
Yeah,
you legit can do shit on your phone.
I was watching a Straight Outta Compton, and that was obviously based back in like the early '90s, I believe, maybe even late '80s. NWA, all that stuff, and seeing how people were discovered then, just being in the studio, and one guy walks in, but you worked up so hard to like pay for this session for like maybe 30 minutes or an hour, and then the big dog walks in, hears you, and he's like, man, like you're the shit, that kind of thing. That's fucking dope.
And what's the chance of that happening?
Exactly.
You know, like for all the other people, you know, doing the same shit, that one guy walking in, you know, as we're like now, if you make quality shit, consistently release it, you know, and we have the ability to make quality shit, you know, then like the world can build you up rather than like just this one guy. And I think that's dope. I think it's a cool time to be a musician.
For sure.
You know?
For sure.
That it is.
So I kind of want to like talk about your process with like beats. Are you still using FL Studio? Really?
Yeah, I've tried to like branch off, and I've definitely made some beats on GarageBand, just clicking, and because like he said, it's like they translate into each other kind of thing. And I've never been like fluent on like Macs and stuff like that, so it was kind of hard for me. But still on FL Studio, about almost 11 years I've been going at it, making beats and stuff. And my process behind that, really, I've seen a lot of people like talk about, man, I got this melody in my head, it keeps like going off, and they'll sit down to do it and they're like, okay, that's it. I've never had that. For some reason, I've never like, when I think about music, I think about lyrics. If I'm ever thinking about it, it's just lyrics and topics and how I'm feeling, stuff like that. But when I sit down to make a beat, it's always just blank, dry. I don't even have an idea. And I always start with the piano and whatever chords I'm playing, however it's going. And once I got like a really nice sounding piano, I switch the sound of it through different, whether it be like an arp or like a bell or something like that, even a guitar. And if it sounds good with a piano, you know it's in the right key. Yeah. Because some sounds have like dissonance to it and like detune and stuff like that. So like if it sounds good with the piano, you're straight. And then you flip through and you find your like one sound that sounds catchy. And then after that, I start building like drums on it. Yeah. And I'll go back to the melody after the drums are on it, and then I'll add like a counter melody that kind of goes with the drums, but it's in the same key. That's really like the creative process behind my beats and stuff. But I don't really sit down and ever have something in my head. Yeah. It just kind of comes.
Yeah. So like with FL Studio, the like mixing and mastering process,
it's difficult. It depends on what headphones you're using or speakers.
Is there like external plugins that you use?
There's actually thousands, man. It's crazy because like I said, I started on the demo version on my mom's laptop, and then I finally built up when I was like a senior in high school. I bought the real version. I think I was working at McDonald's or something, and I finally saved up like 2 paychecks and bought it. And the stock plugins that it comes with is literally basic. It's like reverb that has like 3 knobs on it, stuff like that, delay, stuff like that.
Sound goodizer.
Yeah, sound goodizer, and you throw that on every beat, that kind of thing. And then I go over to Easy Mate's house, and I can get into like how I met him too. I've heard of him before because he lives where we live in Dickson, and I literally, after bouncing around and hearing from these people, Kanan, which is CS Productions, through him I heard of like 2 or 3 different engineers and producers in the county, and never really paid mind to it. I was just like, whatever, I'm gonna do my own thing. And then actually a guy that I worked with as I was working with Kanan's sister, he was a rapper too. He was like, hey man, come to my boy's house. And I was like, all right, cool, whatever. He's like, it's studio, it's dope, I promise, whatever. So we go over there, and it's just like this apartment. It's like a bedroom. Yeah. And he was like, well, this is it, man. There's like a computer on a table. Right. And that was it. And we're like, damn. I was like, where's the microphone? He's like, right there in the closet, man. I was like, oh shit. And so he's like, sit down. He's like, do your thing. And he's like, I heard you made beats and all this stuff, because I was telling the guy I worked with, and he had kind of like translated it or whatever. He's like, sit down and make some beats. And I open up FL. It's just obviously it's like the basic thing. And then I go to like add a plugin, and it's just across the screen. And I'm not lying, this guy had everything you could ever want, VST wise and plugin wise. Like he had like all the good reverbs, all the good delays, and Omnisphere. I'm sure you've heard of Omnisphere and Nexus and all these things. I'm just like, I was like, yeah, Nexus is crazy. And I was just like in awe. I was like, man, I was like, can I use it? Like, I was like, he was like, man, use whatever you want. I was like, are you sure? It was crazy. And then, so yeah, that was all external. You got to buy those. You got to download them, whatever. Some are free. Mixing wise, it comes, and like y'all probably know, it comes with the tracks. And you can link each sound. If you got a piano, you got the drum, you got the kick, and all this stuff. You link those to 1, 2, 3, and 4, and it comes with knobs, just like a real mixing board, but it's all digital, and it's pretty awesome. What people don't realize, like you mix by ear, what sounds level. If the clap's too loud, turn it down. People don't really look. If you look, like I'm looking right now at the green and the yellow, like if something's peaking, something's red, like turn it down. Right. Yeah. And a lot of people don't do that, and
it's the loudness war.
Right. Yeah. It is. And I'm not the best mixer. I'm not the best at mastering anything, but I would say I have like a pretty good ear to it. But I've gotten some like feedback from a couple other people that say like, don't do this, don't do that. But it's all really, at the end of the day, every mix is going to be different. Yeah. It's just based on what you want to stand out and stuff like that. So it is what it is.
Yeah. That's cool. Red. Flashing. All right. Is there anything else you guys want to go over really quick? We probably got like 5 minutes left.
I'm good.
I'm good.
Hell yeah. Thank you guys so much for coming on.
Yeah. Thanks for having us.
Yeah. Links will be in the description as always.
Hells yeah.
Archive 23. Out.
Yeah. Thanks for checking out the video, guys. Like and subscribe. Hit that bell icon for notifications. If you want to take it a step further, we got a Patreon page. Help videos like this keep coming. Thanks, guys.